Hey everybody, today we're replacing the windshield wiper motor on an 80 series Land Cruiser. So before I get started, I just wanted to mention we do have a new channel membership. It helps support the channel, gets you early access to our videos. So if you care to take a look, there's a link down below in the description. But until then, let me move the camera and we'll get started. We're going to do this a little bit different than the manual shows. The manual shows taking the wiper arms off and taking the cowl panel off so that you can get to the back side of this panel to undo the linkage. What we're going to do instead is unplug the motor, and I've already loosened up the 4 mounting bolts that hold the motor on. We're going to take those free, and then you can get the linkage to just come past there. And if you pull on it, the wiper blades will go over to the driver's side and give you access to the back side of this linkage. And I can't get it in frame on the camera. My tripod's not tall enough. But the other end of this arm goes through a nylon bushing into the actual wiper arm linkage. Those nylon bushings are, going on 30 years old now and are really likely to crack when you try to pop the wiper arm out. Actually, let me grab the motor and I'll show you what I mean. So this is what we're looking at. This is the nut that we can see right here. So rather than trying to pry the linkage off of here and potentially cracking the bushing that's on here, I'm going to undo this nut, pop the arm off, and swap it that way. And it's real handy. The factory on this one has already put a witness mark that roughly lines up with the center of this linkage. So all we have to do is pop the other one off and make sure we line it back up the same way. So I'm just going to take a 12mm wrench and pop that nut off. And there's a nut and a lock washer. On the new factory motor, I used one of these wiper arm battery terminal pullers. Just slid it on there and popped this loose. But that doesn't fit. There we go. So we'll just knock that off. And then I'm gonna grab a bit of Scotch-Brite real quick and clean that up. And apparently, I tightened this up a little too much when I put it back together. So we'll put the wiper puller back on it real quick. There we go. Take the new arm off. And then get our orientation right. Going back on. I'm sorry, it's not a great visual experience for you guys trying to see what's going on in here. Especially with my head, keep having to go in the way to check alignment. And there goes our light. We'll just snug that back up on there. And then you can see I've put the old linkage back onto the new motor. And then comes the fun part. You gotta shove that back in, and your wiper arms are gonna move while you're doing that. And then you can start your bolts back in. But before you tighten these up, look on the windshield and double check that your wiper arms are roughly in the right spot. You know, you can tweak them a little bit, moving them on the shaft, but if they're way off, that means the reversing function in the motor is not going to be synced right. So you want to make sure those are lined up where they should be. And we can snug all these up. They're just little 6mm bolts, so you don't want to go too tight with them. And plug the harness back in and we're all set. And then the last thing you're going to want to do is actually make sure that the wipers work and that they swipe in the correct arc. You don't want to run them dry on the windshield, so I've sprayed everything down with glass cleaner. And make sure it goes through all the speeds too. So yeah, there we have success on swapping the wiper motor on an 80 series Land Cruiser. If you found that useful, please like and subscribe. And if you want to help support the channel, check out our membership option. I'll catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in.